Good morning. It's Thursday, November 3rd. Thanks for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. I'm Sade Campbell, the Strategic Enrollment Communications and Social Media Manager here at HCC. Pleased to be joined by my co-host, none other than Parrish Murphy, who's going to tell everyone how to find us on social media. Good morning, Parrish.
Good morning. Is it Thursday already?
It is. Is it November already? We could just start there.
Yes. We're 3 days into November. My goodness. Well, you can catch us live on Houston Community College District Facebook page, and we're on YouTube. We're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And you can also catch us on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Well, thanks so much, Parrish. Well, today is Thursday, and that means it's Family Fun Day. We'll be talking about our first ever holographic theater premiering Dinosaur Discoveries. And we will have joining us to talk about that Ryan Latham and David Temple from the Houston Museum of Natural Science. Good morning to Ryan and David.
Good morning.
All right. Well, you will be with Parrish later on in the show. But first, just in time for Election Day, we will have a faculty guest from our government department here to talk about voting literacy. Welcoming to the show, Dr. Veronica Reyna, who is the Faculty Associate Chair for Government. Good morning, Dr.
Good morning.
Reyna.
Good morning.
So happy to have you on. I saw your note about your I voted, and I was like, I forgot mine's in my car. Left it in my car, took pictures and everything, but I don't have the proof on social media. So is it real?
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much for joining us to talk about such an important topic. Many people know that Election Day is next Tuesday, but we want to really go through some tips and help people understand more about their rights to vote and how to vote. So again, Election Day is next Tuesday. Early voting ends tomorrow. So let's start with, why is it important to vote in the midterm elections, those off-cycle non-presidential years?
Yes, midterms are probably the most important elections to participate in. Most of the laws that we live under are state and local, and your midterm and off-year presidential elections are the elections that put into power people in the state government as well as your local government. You also vote on constitutional amendments or local propositions, bond elections, for example. And so your quality of life is highly affected by these midterm elections.
I mean, I'm so glad you mentioned that. And, the Houston has the longest ballot in the entire state of Texas. That is insane. It is so many judicial races that are lengthening the ballot, and a couple other things that people just need to know about to make a voting plan. So what are your tips to make a voting plan, and how do you make one? What should be on your voting plan?
Yeah, so it's a great question. A voting plan is just your strategy to how to carry out voting. You always should start with double checking your voter registration. You can do that by going to your county election page. And if you live in Harris County, that's harrisvotes.com. And you'll find the link for double checking your voter registration. And you just want to make sure there's no yellow sign that says you need to update your name or your address or something like that. And you want to check this first so you have enough time to fix any potential problems. And once you double check your registration, then there are a few things that you want to get in order to make voting easy for you. I would definitely recommend finding your sample ballot. You don't want to spend time informing yourself about election races that you don't have to worry about. So just go to your county elections page and find your sample ballot and just look at the races you actually have to vote for. Once you've done that, then you want to think about how to inform yourself about for whom to vote. And you can find some great shortcuts. Probably the easiest one for the Houston area and Harris County is the League of Women Voters Voter Guide. And you can find hard copies in most libraries, and you can also find their PDF online. This is a nonpartisan, non-ideological voters guide where they reach out to the candidates and ask them questions. And what they publish is literally what those candidates say. There's no analysis, there's no commentary, and you can compare that voters guide to your sample ballot and decide. You can also check out candidate web pages or look at interest groups or community groups that you trust or agree with and see who they recommend. Once you have a good idea about who you want to vote for, then you want to make sure the nuts and bolts are in place for making sure you have the right voter ID, making sure that you know where you're going to go to vote. The harrisvotes.com has the locations for the remaining early voting time period as well as election day. You can vote anywhere that's available at Harris County. And you can also find how long the lines are, so you don't have to wait. You can be strategic. Of course, that means you can vote where it's easiest for you to vote. You can vote by school, by work, by your home. You also want to make sure that you figure out how you're going to drive there. You want to think about traffic, transportation, issues that might arise. And the good news is that Metro offers free transportation on Election Day. And there was one weekend during early voting that I believe is passed, but on Election Day, you do have free transportation. You just let the drivers know that you're going to go vote.
Oh, Dr. You are dropping incredible tips. I just, it's so important that people understand the sample ballot, right? Because many people don't know you can't take your phone to the poll. So you may write down all of who you want to vote for, and they're going to gently tap you on that shoulder. And so you have to put your phone away. So printing off that sample ballot, marking who you want to vote for, and going in there will make your voter experience just that much quicker. And I appreciate you sharing those tips. Metro typically has done this for years where they offer the free transportation. So just as a recap, go to harrisvotes.com if you're in Fort Bend, fortbendvotes.com. Brazuria has a similar site, and know how to print off your sample ballot. So what's on your ballot and where you're going to vote and what times you're going to vote. And one thing I do want to drive home, Veronica, is not every state has early voting, and it's going to be a busy election day. So we really encourage you to take advantage of these last couple of days of early voting so that you're not in the long lines on election day. And just in case on election day or if they vote early, if they encounter any problems at the polls, what options do voters have?
Yeah, so you want to definitely know your rights. And that is, if you're an eligible voter and you've registered and everything's okay, you should be able to vote. And so you can ask for a provisional ballot where you vote and they hold it until you figure out whatever is preventing you, that obstacle from voting that day, whether it's an ID issue or an address match or something like that. There are other routes you can take if you don't have the right ID, but you have a correct ID, just not with you. You can ask for a declaration of reasonable impediment that will allow you to vote, and they will count it once you provide that correct ID. And you should also carry with you the county elections phone number. That's the first office that I would probably call just to ask them any questions that arise when you go vote.
Really good tips. I think a lot of people it's something that you don't find out till you get there. So, there are a lot of things that have changed about voting. One, in recent years, if you haven't voted in a while, you mentioned that you can vote at any site. It's no longer, I can only vote at this one site. Additional changes, there's no longer any straight ticket voting. There was legislation passed. So now you have to go and hit every single selection to make sure that you're voting in every race that you want to vote for. Are there any other kind of things that are coming up new that you see voters be surprised by often?
There are new machines. So if you've not voted in a bit, you might encounter this new machine for the first time. It is a new machine that allows us to track ballots better. So you can find a video on how to use these machines if you're worried about that. So on the county elections webpage, you'll find videos to walk you through that process. So there's no concern about what do I do when I get there. You can always ask any of the poll volunteers when you're there as well. And they know that these are new and people need some assistance. So that's another big change from the daisy wheel that we used to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just, I want to commend you. I appreciate you coming on the show, but you've been committed to this work, not only just as a government professor, but also as the leader of the Center for Civic Engagement here at Houston Community College, and providing resources and events and support to just up voting literacy for our students, and media literacy, which plays a big role in influencing how people vote. We're out of time, but I just want to thank you for coming and sharing this knowledge. Such a great segment. Thank you to Dr. Veronica Reyna, who is the HCC Government Associate Chair. We'll have information posted after the show.
Thanks.
And I will kick it over to Parrish.
All righty. We're talking some fun things. We're talking dinosaurs, and one of my favorite places, the Museum of Natural Science. Ryan Latham is Managing Director of the Base Xperiential HoloTheater, and David Temple is the Associate Curator of Paleontology. Of Paleontology at the Houston Museum of Natural Science. Welcome to the show, Ryan and David. How are you guys doing?
Good morning.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I want to just set things up before we get started. The museum and the Base Xperiential have partnered to unveil the world's first ever HoloTheater and Dinosaur Discoveries, a holographic adventure. We'll start with you first, Ryan. When does this big world premiere even start?
Yeah, the world premiere is going to happen Friday, November 18th, right here in the historic Wortham Theater at the Houston Museum of Natural Science, which the theater is being transformed really into a dynamic and immersive storytelling attraction using 3D holographic technology and video mapping through our premiere show, Dinosaur Discoveries, a holographic adventure.
Wow, now this sounds really massive. I know that holograms have evolved over the centuries, and I've really seen some great ones. Technologically, can you tell me what this is going to encompass?
Yeah, well, speaking of the evolution of holographic technology and immersive technology, one of the most, I think, impactful things about the experience is that it doesn't require any headsets or 3D goggles. The experience uses multiple screens and a state-of-the-art mixed media experience to really take audiences through a 140-year journey of scientific discovery and disputes on the journey to understand the truth about dinosaurs and really how we know and see them today.
It sounds like the viewers are going to get a real up close and personal view of these dinosaurs. Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct. They're going to be immersed in the world of dinosaurs like never before. And I think through the technology, they're going to be brought closer to dinosaurs than ever before as well. But one of the things that I think will surprise audiences is that they're going to be put in the boots of leading paleontologists that are out in the field making the latest and greatest discoveries that really shape how we view dinosaurs today. And taking through that debate over scientific discovery and really the process of discovery through science and paleontology. So we're very excited about this partnership with the museum and what this is going to bring to audiences here in Houston.
Great. Now, you don't have to watch Jurassic Park to be scared of dinosaurs and know that they're really unpredictable. And I asked this question, is this for all ages? Because is it, how graphic is it?
Absolutely. It is for all ages. This is really geared towards family audiences. There's something in Dinosaur Discovery and the experience offered through HoloTheater really for everybody. It's going to engage audiences of all ages in a very visceral and evolving visualization of dinosaurs and the world of dinosaurs as we know it to be. But I think most importantly, inspiring audiences of all ages in the pursuit of discovery, but also providing them with new insights into the actual lives of these creatures that have really captivated the world since we initially discovered them.
Great. Now, I want to bring David in right quick.
Yes, sir.
David, I understand that this is kind of a tie-in to an anniversary that you guys are having at the museum.
Absolutely. So we are on the 10th anniversary of our new paleontology hall. And I say new paleontology hall, and I can't believe it's been a decade now. So time has gone really, really fast.
Now, what is paleontology for those that don't know?
Paleontology is the study of ancient lives and ecosystems and evolution. So basically the history of life on Earth. And so dinosaurs are an important part of that, but of course it predates the dinosaurs and postdates the dinosaurs. So to give you an idea, the kinds of fossils that we might find in the Houston area aren't going to be dinosaur fossils, but they'll be ice age fossils. So there'll be things 10,000 years ago, maybe to 1 million years ago.
Great. Now, can you give us a little overview of the Hall of Paleontology?
Sure. So it's 30,000 square feet. And yes, it's that big. It's a huge hall. And when you have to dust it, it seems even bigger. If you have to clean the fossils, which we do that a couple times a year. It starts out with the earliest known life, which was stromatolites at about 4.5 billion years ago. So you can see the earliest fossils that are known. So then from there, it extends around sort of on a track. You can either go back in time or you can go forward in time, depending on how you want to do it, through all the different life forms that are there. So there's many iconic things. Museum has an amazing collection of trilobites. We've got a very solid collection of Permian, which is where I do my work and my research interests are. And that is, of course, very important to Texas. Texas has some of the best Permian in the world. And then it goes around, of course, to the Mesozoic and the dinosaur period. So we have the central gallery, the rotunda, if you will, is kind of preserved for all the dinosaurs. And we have some amazing dinosaurs, including quite a few original bone mounts. So we do have some casts, but we also have original bone mounts. We have an original Tyrannosaurus Rex. We have, and of course, the world's best at this point, until somebody finds a better one, if they ever do, Triceratops, an amazing Triceratops, and a lot of other dinosaurs. Then it just makes the sweep through the rest of the period of time and finishes in the area, the time period that would be in our Houston area in the Pleistocene. The things that could be found, in the bayous around Houston.
That is awesome. Where can we get tickets to the Dinosaur Discoveries?
To get tickets to Dinosaur Discovery, I would either, of course, you can buy them at the museum box office, or if you want to get online and be a little bit more proactive, you can go to our website, hmns.org.
Now, does this include a visit to the museum as well?
Yes, I believe that it does.
Awesome. Okay. Sounds great. Now, one of the things that I love about the Museum of Natural Science is there are just so many different things that are involved and that you guys have there. Everything from the human body, and now we're dealing with dinosaurs. Now, in order to get an accurate depiction of how these dinosaurs and all of these things looked, how do you guys just kind of look at fossils? How do you put those together? In other words, my basic question is, how do you know that Tyrannosaurus Rex look like that?
This is one of my favorite things about this whole process. And it's one of the things I really like about being involved in the base hologram project. So all this has started, it goes back to the mid-19th century when they did the first Crystal Palace creations of sculptures, trying to figure out, they had these bones, and they had to figure out what did the animals look like. And the very first reconstructions of dinosaurs, which were done from incomplete bones, are famously inaccurate. But they have preserved these sculptures primarily because it's the beginning. It's the first one. It's science's first attempt at reconstructing these. And as time has gone by, the more and better specimens you find, the more complete you can reconstruct the animals. And if you have an understanding of anatomy and an understanding of biology, once you get a full set of bones, it's very easy to read those bones and basically just put the muscles back on the bones. And once you start putting the muscles on the bones, then of course you can put the skin back on the bones, and you can recreate what they look. So early on, when people wanted to experience dinosaurs, it would start off with stereo cards, where you might have a stereo viewer. You would hold it up and you would look at the cards, and it would go 3D. And then that was amazing. They didn't have TV then, so that was amazing entertainment just for people to sit around and look at these cards and pass them around with their friends and, look at that. Then, of course, you get motion pictures. So some of the earliest dinosaur motion pictures, they have silent films from the 1920s. And, of course, everybody probably has seen and experienced the dinosaurs in King Kong. And, you know, that trend goes all the way up and finishes now with, of course, Jurassic Park. And the Holo project is actually taking it beyond that, because the dinosaurs are essentially going to come off the screen and be in the room with you. So this represents, it has a long history of humans trying to interact with and understand and really put the skin back on dinosaurs. And this is the most advanced attempt at that has yet been done. So it's very exciting. When you look at the history of paleontology, it's a great project.
Wow, that is awesome. Now, before we get out of here, Ryan, how lifelike and realistic are these holograms?
Well, you know, certainly we're stretching the realism of the dinosaurs as we know them to be as much as we possibly can with the technology today. I think, you know, when you're immersed in the environment, when you've got 4 different screens providing this experience and bringing you into the world of dinosaurs, I like to call it a bit of a digital pop-up book in which the holograms and really those key moments in the story are brought forward towards you into the audience through the holographic projections. We're excited for audiences to see that for themselves and come here to the Houston Museum of Science and interact with the show and engage with the content and really see just how impressive these dinosaurs are when you use holographic technology to project them for audiences. So we're very excited about that. And we're looking forward to having the show open in a matter of weeks and bringing audiences in here to experience it firsthand.
It sounds absolutely exciting, guys. Listen, thank you, gentlemen, so much for being on the big show. Ryan Latham is managing director of the Base Xperiential HoloTheater, and David Temple is the associate curator of paleontology at the Houston Museum of Natural Science. I'm gonna get that straight one of these days. We'll have all of their information after the show. It sounds absolutely awesome. I look forward to seeing this, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Sade, we need to go see the dinosaurs. I'm hooked. If it's a hologram and I just want to say something. I've been black a couple of months, and if it looks like it's real and it's charging at me, I'm running. I'm just putting that out there. I'm running. I will run from a dinosaur hologram.
Absolutely. I mean, what is it? Fight or flight? So you're choosing flight. You know, you don't need to fight them.
I believe in survival.
Absolutely. Well, that takes, since you've announced what you were going to do if you saw a dinosaur, that takes us right into our news events and announcements, how we wrap out each one of these episodes. Kicking it off, we have the faculty exhibit, Self-Fragmentation, that ends this Friday. Adjunct Angel Castellan exhibit of self-fragmentation captures his own identity through self-portraits and imagery of everyday life. It ends tomorrow, November 4th at HCC Spring Branch Gallery.
Right, and Small Business Success Series will end soon. HCC's free Small Business Success Series is about to end, and the Center of Entrepreneurship is absolutely grateful for its partnership with Wells Fargo. Now, this happens 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays through November the 10th. We'll have information of this in our link of the show.
All right, mark your calendars for November 11th for the Speculative Fiction Virtual Creative Writing Talk. The HCC Creative Writing Club will host trans author, editor, world builder, and publisher Theodore, who goes by Todd, Tinker, to discuss the ins and outs of writing and publishing fantasy, science fiction, horror, and more. HCC students, staff, and faculty are welcome. It'll be hosted on WebEx, and a reservation is required, so check the post after this show for details on how to register.
Speculative Fiction, the HCC Creative Writing Club will host trans author, editor, world builder, and publisher Theodore Tinker. Yes, ma'am.
You got to keep up. I just read that one.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was scrolling through. I apologize.
There we go. Hit us with the next one. It's one of your favorite ones.
Online workshops to help learn no blame, practical problem solving, government decision making, and city leadership roles without running for office. It happens 9 a.m. to noon, Mondays through December the 12th. That is virtual. And in our post after the show, we'll give you a link for more details.
All right. Thank you for that. No blame. Coming up next, we have our All-Star Series, a dunk contest and 3-on-3. HCC Central is having some fun for fitness with an All-Star Shootout. It'll be happening 1 to 3 p.m. Monday, November 14th. That's the dunk contest. 1 to 3 on Wednesday, November 16th. That's the 3-on-3 contest. And at HCC Central San Jacinto Gym. Call Daniel Lawson for info. His information will be posted after the show. You down for a game, Parrish? I'm pretty cold.
That's okay. I will bring my chucks and we can play. That's not a problem.
Chucks? Oh my goodness. RIP to your feet.
Spring registration. Can you believe that's starting soon? Though the spring registration is about to open, students can still register for intensive fall sessions. The same things are available online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, in-person, and hybrid lab. For registration on all HCC programs, go to hccs.edu/apply. That is hccs.edu/apply.
Yeah, we're in November, so that means spring registration is starting. It will kick off on Monday for everyone. So definitely that time of year. Well, up next for Film Friday, one of our own HCC staff and a member of the communications team, Diana Bardo Burgos, will be here to talk about her documentary project on undocumented workers. And Dr. Alex LaRota of HCC's History Department will return to talk about his curriculum, as well as the book he is continuing to develop with Duke University Press about San Antonio's sound. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Up to the Minute. We'll see you next time.